Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor. Today we've got the real-world highway fuel economy test of the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe Plug-in Hybrid. You join me in the beautiful scenery of my driveway, accompanied by my neighbor's dog, who seems to be outside, so please excuse him. But the reason we're here is because this is the plug-in hybrid vehicle, and this is where we start our plug-in hybrid tests. If you're familiar with our normal fuel economy, we go to the gas station and head out, go from there, but because we're running on some juice, we have been plugged in all night and we are all charged up and ready to go. Now, I wrestled a bit with how exactly to do this test. We've tested plug-in hybrids in a few different ways, and the reason for a little bit of the inconsistency is because of the inconsistency on how plug-in hybrids work. Some plug-in hybrids are more like the RAV4 Prime, in which it can run entirely on electric up to well over legal highway speeds and at strong bits of accelerator pedal input and stay on electricity. It never has to kick on the gas motor. It can also provide heat to the cabin without using the gasoline motor. That's not the case for this Hyundai plug-in hybrid, same with its Kia counterparts. The battery can't provide enough power to propel the car in all situations and at up to most highway speeds, so the engine starts kicking on to provide heat, to provide power, and you've got kind of this weird combo usage then. So I see them useful in different ways, and this makes it tough to test fuel economy because it also sort of changes how people use their cars. Some people might want to use a plug-in hybrid vehicle as sort of an assistant to the gasoline engine. So yes, you're improving your fuel economy by using electricity, but you're still paying for that electricity at some point. Other people want to be able to drive a plug-in hybrid like a solely electric vehicle for a certain amount of time, like the RAV4, like the Volvo T8 hybrid powertrains. So it's kind of different strokes for different folks, but in order to do sort of a one-size-fits-all and most effective and repeatable and informative test I can, we're going to run this test by heading out on the highway and trying to drive on EV only. Now, I'm not sure if we can get up to highway speeds and maintain highway speeds without kicking in the engine. If we can't, then it's kind of going to grenade this test, but I'm going to try to go out on the highway and run down the battery. So if you wanted to go out and do errands, run around town, or go a little bit on the highway and do it on battery only, like an electric vehicle, we're going to see how far you can go on that. And then I'm going to come back, go to the gas station, fill up, and head out and do a normal test. We're going to start here by zeroing out all of our trip computers and everything like that. And there's no sort of mile per kilowatt hour electric efficiency readout for this car. We've only got MPG, and I'll talk a little bit about the problems with that as we get rolling. But I've got everything cleared out. We've got our GPS reset. I think we're ready to begin. A few things to note for today. Outside temperature is 63 degrees Fahrenheit and sunny. Tire pressures have been set to their door placard 36 psi cold, and we're actually not going to run the climate control right now because that would cause the engine to kick on. I'm going to try to drive without engaging the motor so we can see how far you can go just on battery alone. Now, once we get driving on the highway with the gasoline motor itself in sort of hybrid mode, then I'll kick on the climate control to 73. So I want to break down a little bit of the misleading elements of how Hyundai reports fuel economy in these plug-in hybrid models. Say you traveled 40 miles in this car, the Santa Fe plug-in hybrid, and you had maybe 50% charge in the plug-in hybrid battery, but you still had to use the gasoline motor for some of that. Say maybe for 5 of those miles you're running on EV only, and then for the rest of the miles the battery was sort of helping the gasoline motor out. They're working in tandem. The car might report something like 40 miles per gallon, but what that's only telling you is that in those 40 miles you used 1 gallon of fuel. It's not reporting on how much electricity you used. And that's kind of like acting like electricity is just this free element, like it's running on air or solar panel power or something. But you're still paying for electricity. I still have to pay the electric company to charge this vehicle up. So yeah, maybe I'm getting 40 or 50 MPG according to the car, but it's not like that's free. there's a missing element of that miles per gallon that's not exactly accurate. And so if this said that I got 40 MPG in a certain drive period, and you compared that to, say, maybe like a Hyundai Elantra, like a naturally like a non-hybrid car, maybe even just like a Honda Civic or something like that, and there's no hybrid element there, and it also got 40 miles per gallon, that 40 miles per gallon is cheaper in the non-hybrid car, because in this car it's accounting for that plug-in electricity that I added from my house that I had to pay for. Even if this got the exact same fuel economy as just the normal hybrid Santa Fe, that would be more accurate in that normal hybrid car, because I didn't provide that electricity. I didn't pay for that using my my electric bill. I used only gasoline to get there. So I think that's a little misleading. We've made it the 2 miles from my house to the highway and haven't used any sort of gasoline. Now it's time to see if we can get up to highway speeds and maintain highway speeds without using the gasoline motor. Fortunately, I can hold the gauge right there and know that the engine won't kick on. I can feel the car shifting. It's not going very fast, that's for sure. I don't know if I'm going to be able to safely maintain 70 miles per hour on EV only. Let's see. Okay, well, there we go. 70 miles per hour, and we actually do this test at 72. So there we go. I'm actually probably not going to be able to use cruise control, because I don't want the cruise control to actually kick the engine on. I want to stay on battery only. So we are going to try and average 70 miles per hour, do right about 72 or so, and see how long we can go before we run out of juice. In the meantime, enjoy this time lapse of the trip. We've got 1 mile left of EV range here on the highway portion of our test. We've done 27 miles since leaving our house, so that means 25 miles of driving on the highway. Now, admittedly, there's about half a mile there of turning around, because I wanted to have as much going in both directions there to cancel out elevation change and wind. It won't be a perfect 50-50 test, because we're going to run out of range here before we get back to where we started, but there we are at 19% battery remaining. Now, on these Hyundai and Kia plug-in hybrid vehicles, it stores something about 15-16% of battery for use in normal driving situations, like a normal hybrid. And actually, it's not just Hyundai Kia that does that. The Toyota RAV4 acts similarly. But once that range hits 0, right around then, we should be seeing that EV indicator on the dash go away, and we should feel the engine kick in, maybe hear it as well. Yep, there we go. I actually didn't even feel the engine kick on, but I saw hybrid mode pop up and the EV indicator went away. And now I was at 28.3, 2 or 3 miles roughly, according to the GPS. So I'd say you should be able to get about 27 miles of EV only driving on the highway here in the Santa Fe Plug-in hybrid from Hyundai. Battery's down to 12%. And now we're going to head to the gas station, fill up the gas tank, and go out and do 100 miles on gasoline only to see how this plug-in hybrid will actually fare in real-world driving situations on gasoline alone. And the reason I think it's important to test plug-in hybrids this way is because I've used plug-in hybrid vehicles for road trips before, and by the time you run out of that plug-in hybrid benefit, you're essentially just running like a normal hybrid vehicle. And I've gone on a 700-mile road trip in a Hyundai Tucson plug-in hybrid, and yeah, I had some benefits from the plug-in hybrid battery there for the first 100 miles or so, but then for the next 600 miles of my trip, I was just running as a normal hybrid. So that is what I find to be the more useful metric. What sort of fuel economy can you expect when you're just driving along on the highway as a hybrid vehicle? So we're going to head to the gas pump, fill up, and head out on the second portion of the trip. Coming into the end of the highway fuel economy test here in the Santa Fe plug-in hybrid. Interestingly, after doing hundreds of these tests, I've never been stuck for as long as I have behind oversized vehicles. But for about the last 15 miles coming through Ann Arbor there, 10-15 miles, we were stuck behind two oversized vehicles doing about 60 miles per hour. So I am going to have to take about half a mile per gallon off of this result because we did not nearly average 70 miles per hour. I got it up to 69 here by the end of the test, but extra drafting, not very accurate there, and lower speeds, not very accurate. Either way, though, we're looking at 32.7 according to the vehicle's trip computer, so we should be able to achieve 32 miles per gallon, which is what we got on the normal non-plug-in, just normal hybrid Santa Fe when we tested it. And that is also what the EPA rating is for this car, 32. So we're going to get back to the pump here, digest all that information, and get some final results. 2.661 gallons going in for our final fill. For the gas-only portion of the test, we did 86.2 miles. Typically we do about 100, but we had to turn around a little bit early for some construction on our route. 86.2 divided by 2.661 gallons is giving us 32.4 miles per gallon. So a little bit lower than the vehicle's trip readout. We were at about 33 when we got in. But I think that's going to put us into that safe range of 32 miles per gallon. So the exact same readout that the EPA estimates and the exact same readout that we got when we tested the hybrid Santa Fe. So what that tells you, and this shouldn't be too big of a surprise, but that tells you you're going to get the same fuel economy cruising on the highway after your plug-in hybrid range runs out, which is about 25 to 30 miles on the highway. After that, you're just going to get the same fuel economy in this version as the normal hybrid. So let me ask you, does your lifestyle lend itself to saving a lot of money by getting the plug-in hybrid? Are you going to save up that difference in cost between the purchase price of the plug-in hybrid and just the regular hybrid Santa Fe? You need to do the math for yourself and see if it's worth it. Now, some people just prefer the smoothness of running on EV only, and I get that. And I will say, if you have any sort of electric vehicle charging incentives, or if even better, you have, say, like solar panels at your house and you're able to get cheap and or free electricity, maybe off-peak charging hours, something like that, then yes, it might be much more advantageous for you to use the plug-in hybrid model and pay extra to get that. But if you're someone who does a lot of highway driving, or if you're paying just standard electricity rates to charge up your car, really think twice before ponying up for a plug-in hybrid. Don't get me wrong, for some people it's very, very nice and the right option, but for others, there might be a better choice out there. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the Santa Fe, check the links in the description, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.